Greetings ladies and gentlefish, and welcome to another pair of Chase the Ace games. This is going to be a British speciality this time, so we're kicking proceedings off with the Cruiser Mark I, one of the British Tier 2 light tanks. This is the one on the line that leads up to the Valentine, and then your choice of, as of now, the Archer, and up to the tank destroyers, or the Churchill and onto the heavy tanks. So what do you need to know about this tank, the Cruiser 1? Well, it's not very mobile, it's not very small, the armour's not very good, but my god, the gun kicks buttock. So, you have a choice of guns on this machine. I think the best gun to use, the best all-round gun, is the 2-pounder, which gives you 45 damage, 64 penetration, same as on the Cruiser 3, and, like the Cruiser 3, badass gun depression. Now, one thing to note is that this tank gets a reasonable slab of health for a Tier 2 light tank. Let's just speed this... oh, no. Speed this along a little bit. For a Tier 2 light tank at 170, because, yeah, I'm going to speed this up because, as I mentioned, this tank is not very fast. And I decide to plonk up into this bush and use that gun depression. So, put one into the Panzer 2D, alas, he puts some into me, and the Panzer 2D's gun is not very good, so you can see just how naff this armour is. M2 Light stays up there, which is not a very good plan, as he is now dead. I mean, it wasn't the worst trade for me. I managed to put a shot into the Panzer 2D at least, but he took out one of my crew members who I had to revive with the med pack. So crawling up here again, see if I can polish off this Panzer 2. Nope. Gun's usually fairly reliable, but that was a miss. So it's got the gun has good penetration, so I don't see any reason to load APCR. And low caliber high explosive isn't very good, so I think sticking with armor piercing is probably better. You could use the pom-pom gun on this tank, but I don't really think it's mobile enough to warrant that, and I think this is just a better all-round weapon. I blind fired where I thought the techie might be, but not. He wasn't there. And let's just speed this along a little bit again. Panzer 2 off in the distance, seeing if I can get a leading shot in. But no, nowhere near. T60. Now he's actually sitting still, so I might be able to put some fire on him. This gun is relatively accurate for a Tier 2 weapon. Oh, he dies. But that is for a Tier 2 gun. I mean, most of the guns mounted on Tier 2 tanks are pretty inaccurate, so I believe this gun has a value dispersion at 100 meters. Actually got bounced there. Dispersion at 100 meters of 0.4, which is not actually very good in the grand scheme of things, but as I say, good for a Tier 2. Second shot into him, just using the gun depression. Third, and one more to finish off this Panzer. Did I bounce? Ugh. One more, there we go. Panzer is dead. Scoreline is 8-8. And again, speeding this up because games on Kampanovka can be very protracted indeed. Renault Otsu pulling back into a position which I'm more hull down, not because my armour's particularly good on the turret, but more that it makes shots at me harder. Take a blind shot at his last known location, but we don't pick up the kill. So he's presumably moved. Move forward, get the spot again. Bounce on him. Yeah, the armour of those tanks that are based on the French Renault light tank can be quite troll. And eventually pick up the kill for kill number 2. We'll speed up once more. There's the Teke off in the distance. Leave him on 6 health. We take a shot at him, but it's not really effective. Scorelines are completely tied. We each have 6 tanks left on our respective teams. And I'm sure a good chunk of them are each camping the various bases. So, let's speed this up again. Once more, as I said, games on this map can be very protracted indeed. And we've just seen the M2 Light off over there who managed to kill our Panzer 2. AT1's moving forwards. I'm being a little bit more circumspect. I have binocular telescopes, I have a camo net. If the AT1 wants to be the one doing the spotting, fine by me. Teke actually nails him, and now it's looking a little bit dubious. There's only 3 of us left. And the enemy have 6 remaining tanks. If I can get a shot on this Teke, that would be valuable, but alas, no, I don't. So I pull back into a position where I think I might be able to defend the base, but someone else picks up the kill. And we're just moving up here in an effort to do something about the guys who are almost invariably now going to be screaming down from the hill towards our team. Although they could have bypassed me now, as you see, there is a light tank behind our base, which I notice, and that's the M2 light. Indeed, he has certainly bypassed me. Don't know about the Tech A. And I don't have an effective shot on this chap at the moment. If he comes out, oh yes, but the lead on that shot was terrible. Lead on that shot was also terrible. But if he's just going to sit there, or maybe he's been tracked or something. One shot in, second one should polish this guy off. The lead again was awful. I'm really not leading my shots very well at the moment. That just went high. So I'm going to change target to the easier to hit NC31. One shot into him, two more should take this fellow out. One more should take this fellow out. Good night, sweet prince. There are three of them. There are two of us. There's the Tech A, who is on very little health. My blind shot misses, alas. But he can't escape the 2-pounder. I am the only one left now versus an 81 and a Panzerjäger 1. Bit of a dicey situation. So I decided to head towards their base. Because I don't believe in, waiting out and playing for draws. I think that's incredibly boring. Speeding this up, as this tank is rather pedestrian. Now I'm not just going to rush pell-mell toward their base. I'm going to try and spot them. I have binocular telescopes, I have a camo net. Let's make use of that. And they come online and I don't see anything. So let's not sit in that bush any longer. Let's go somewhere else.
5-minute warning.
5 minutes of this match are left. Again, we do a similar thing here, letting our binocular telescopes and camo net come up when we're in the bush, see if we spot anything. We don't, relocate. And this is still a light tank, remember, despite its size and despite its lack of decent mobility. That means that it retains its camo value on the move. It does not get a bad camo value when it is moving. So that's an advantage that I retain over my enemies. Now, with any luck, they're not necessarily expecting me to come up behind them. And so hopefully I should have the element of surprise on my side. With a little bit more luck, the enemies will also have taken some damage. And so hopefully, as I start off with more health than they do anyway, that should again give me a little bit of an advantage. So approaching their base. Not going into it though, as that would immediately let them know where I am. And now, screw it, let's just go into the base, start capping, force their hand to do something, because I'm slow enough that it could take me ages to chase these guys around the battlefield. Sitting in a bush, camo net up, binos up. If they're going to come to me, they're going to have to move towards me. With my camo net, bush, binocular telescopes, and their poor camo value on the move, that should mean I spot them well before they spot me. Should allow me to get off the ambush shots, and should allow me, hopefully, to kill them. Or they're just going to let me cap, and I'm happy with that. This is obviously not a guaranteed win or anything, but it's looking alright. Panzerjäger, one shot, two shots, third shot will kill him. I'm just going to take his shot. There we go, he's dead. He actually only manages to damage my track. I've invariably been spotted. But for now, I'm just going to stay here, wait until I'm unspotted again, and then relocate. And we're going to go into the other bush in the cap circle. If this were a higher tier game, this would actually be a rather dubious prospect, as they're pretty obvious locations to take, but it's a lower tier game. That guy's expecting me to be in the other bush. As it's a lower tier game, people are inexperienced, so it can work. He's using the bigger gun, he gets a shot into me, but I just managed to kill him before he takes me out. Voila! Game over. Top Gun. Which was nice. So there we go, a little game on Kampanovka in the Cruiser 1. Take a look at the post-battle results, and then we're going to jump into a game on Himmelsdorf, so it couldn't really be more different if it tried. Here is game number 2. Now we have moved up a tier from tier 2 to tier 3. This is the British tier 3 light tank, the one that is on the cruiser line, so the medium line if you will, rather than the heavy line. This is the Cruiser Mark IV. This is, compared to the previous tank, this is more mobile, and we are, instead of using the 2-pounder gun, we are using the 40mm Bofors. It's basically a modified anti-aircraft gun. This thing gets a little strange 4-shell double tapping auto loading gun. It's a bit weird, but it's a very effective machine. So initially we are going to go up to the hill. This is not necessarily the best map for this tank, as there aren't many places to use your awesome gun depression, but you can use it on the hill. And conversely, Himmelsdorf does tend to have very close range engagements, and with this gun you really do want to be in close range engagements. You don't want to have to be shooting at people from any great distance. So we are trundling up toward the hill. Just speed this up a little bit. As we get up to the hill, we're just going to try and make use of our gun depression to sneak a peek over the top and possibly see if anyone's coming up. No one's there yet. Of course, that's not the same as saying that no one will be there, but we take advantage of that opportunity to move forwards. And there's a Panzer 1C. Panzer 1C is a nightmare in a tier 3 game, as this is. However, the frontal armour on the Cruiser 3 is enough to reliably bounce the Panzer 1C. And we finish off the M2 Light there. And his armour is not realistically going to bounce me. T-82 just got shot. I'm waiting for him to fire. He has. Move forwards, pick up the kill, reload my magazine. Didn't want to take that howitzer to the face. My armour might be enough to reliably shrug off Panzer 1C's little machine gun, but I don't want to take a 105mm shell to the face. I only land 2 shots from my autoloader there, but that Panzer 1C is now stuck between me and the Stuart, and between us, with any luck, we should be able to end his little adventure. And indeed, he's down. I take a shot to the rear, which I think was a round from the enemy artillery. And I don't really have a good shot on the artillery itself, and our Su-76 polishes him off. So, after all that, the scoreline is 6 kills each. I'm seeing if I can get any shots down this alleyway. It appears not. And I'm kind of conscious of the fact that the enemy are the ones who are being the aggressors, which, generally speaking, is bad for us, bad for the defenders, if you will. Having said that, T-46 just picked up 2 kills in quick succession, so well done to Boom Fresh. My idea is to... Oh, good lord, there's a Chiha. Well, I was going to say my idea is to come up behind the guys on this little road. Perhaps I should have been more careful with those shots. But if he's going to come around the corner, he's going to die, although I am now on low health. My idea was to come up behind the guys on the banana road and shove this 40mm gun into their posteriors. A bit like this, if the Su-76 lets me take a shot. Which he doesn't, but then I probably wouldn't have aimed in time anyway. So, Panzer 2G behind me. Is he AFK? I'm not sure.
Enemy armor is damaged. Enemy is
I plonk a magazine into him and decide to actually finish this guy off. They are capping our base. Managed to finish him off, but there was the kill. They are capping our base, so now need to rush back to defend our cap circle. I don't know why those 2 light tanks are still up on the hill there. That's not a particularly smart place to be. So what are we dealing with? Well, there's a light tank now at the enemy base, which was the Cruiser 3. So there's the T-46, Marder 2, and Panzer S-35, and I have 37 health. My aim here is to reset the base. If I can do that, I might die in the attempt, but if I can do that, I at least buy my team some time. I'm also trying to approach from a, well, a non-obvious direction, I guess. But maybe it is kind of obvious, I don't know. And who's in the capture circle? There's the S-35, he is dead, and I decide to reload my magazine. That's kill number 6. We've got this T-46 here. Hopefully just empty our magazine into him, and he shall die. There we go, he's dead too. And that just leaves the Marder 2, who is down by the enemy base. And I don't think I'm going to make it down there in time to do anything about that. No, I'm not. And that was the game. 7 kills, ace tanker, job's a good one. Hope you enjoyed those 2 games. If you did, please feel free to catch some of my other videos and or subscribe to my channel. And I wish you very happy hunting on that battlefield. Ciao, ciao.